Hello, I'm Dr. Rebel and welcome to another video, vlog, or whatever you may to call them, or might want to call them, shall we say. And this video we're going to concentrate on 5 reasons why Sebastian Vettel shouldn't be leaving Red Bull Racing. There's been a lot of talk in the media and also internally from Dr. Marco about Sebastian Vettel's future, where it's going to lie ahead. There's always been gossip about Ferrari. And the next one is Mercedes, which has come to fruition. So in this video, I'm going to give 5 reasons why Sebastian Vettel should not leave Red Bull. And the first one is his loyalty, and if this counts for anything, and I think it does count for something in Formula 1, is that drivers are quite loyal to teams, and especially what Red Bull have done for him. You know, if it wasn't for Dr. Helmut Marko's driver program, that gave him the chance to get into Formula 1, because remember, he didn't get into Formula 1 because of money. He had no major sponsors with him, although he does now, like any 4 world champion would. You know, if it wasn't for Red Bull, he wouldn't even be in Formula 1. Toro Rosso fathered him for a year, and then he went up to the big team in Red Bull, and he's yeah, so practically Red Bull have held his hand and been partly responsible for him being in Formula 1. His ability is the consequence of what he's done in Formula 1, what he's achieved. But definitely for sure, the reason why he got into Formula 1 was purely, well, one of the main reasons is because of Red Bull. And that should attract a loyalty immediately. He should feel paternal towards the team. And if you look at past champions, which have provided a good car for a driver. So the first one that comes to mind is Michael Schumacher. Ferrari gave him a championship winning car, which gave him 5 world championships. So yeah, so that sparks a loyalty if a team is able to do that. And then if he wants to leave the team, he usually retires out of respect, because he can't see him anywhere else, to go anywhere else even. So yeah, so usually, you know, when a team provides a driver a championship or a race-winning car consistently, then that does spell some form of loyalty. And we saw this with Schumacher. He retired. Yes, there was an age question. Schumacher was at the latter end of his career, but he still had a few more years left in him. But you know, you just couldn't see him going anywhere else bar Ferrari or retirement. So I think that should be the same sort of relationship which Sebastian Vettel has with Red Bull. So yeah, I think there will be a bit of loyalty, and there will be probably a bit of emotion going into it. So that's one reason why Sebastian Vettel should not leave Red Bull, and that's because of loyalty. The second reason is because Red Bull are a team of winners. The philosophy is all about winning. That's how they market themselves. That's what the company is all about. Dietrich Mateschitz is, you know, all he wants to do is win, and he's a bit like Ron Dennis on steroids. He will do anything to win and to get his team at the forefront. So whether that's spending more money, getting the right engineers, getting the right drivers, or having the right facilities, he's pretty much provided it for his team, and therefore that bodes well for the future, because Sebastian Vettel is somebody who wants to win, like any others, so Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso. So he may well want to hedge his bets and stick with a team which bestows such of a philosophy, which is the extraordinary lengths which they'll go to win. They're always trying some adventurous sort of tactics to get the car at the front, whether that's with the fuel mix, with the engines, the design of the car. It is really on the limit, and that's purely because they want to win. So there are not many teams which kind of give off that mantra. You know, every team says they want to win for sure, but there's only a few teams which give off this sort of aura of this winning mentality, and Red Bull definitely do that. So that is a very good reason as of why they will want to be there. And the third reason is kind of related to the second one, and that is Red Bull are committed to Formula One. They're committed till 2020. But these next couple of years, if you look from 2010 or even 09 even, and up until now, their allocation of money which they've spent on the team has gone up and up and up and up. So in terms of financially, there is a huge commitment from Red Bull. They've ramped up the development. They've ramped up their funding for every single department. As the years go on by, it's only going up. So that's a very good sign, really. Of course, money doesn't always guarantee success, but it's a pretty good starting point. And I'd be extremely naive if I didn't say money did play a part in having a winning team, although Toyota and BMW are the exemplary from that. So yeah, so Red Bull are looking to continue this sort of high allocation of spending going into 2017. That's what they've said. Their budget will increase up until 2017. So that's always a good sign. If a team's going to provide or is going to produce a sort of winning car, and like I said, it's back to the same sort of theme. That is what Sebastian Vettel is looking for. That sort of winning sort of mentality, that chance of him being able to win races in a good car, and definitely the financial side of things of a team is definitely a good sign, which may imply that a team could be in a winning position. And Red Bull committed until 2017 of increasing their budget all the way up until that year. So that is a fantastic sign, despite them having a few troubles this year. The fourth reason is freedom of speech, which Red Bull give their drivers. Vettel is somebody who likes to speak his mind. He has a certain sort of way of living, like everybody else does. He has principles, he likes to do this. He doesn't like these things in life, he likes that in life. And he generally, if you ask him a question, you generally get an honest answer from him. Red Bull give him this sort of freedom of speech. So as we all know, Vettel was a great admirer of Formula One. It was something which he loved as a child, which most F1 drivers generally do. Don't get me wrong, there are some drivers who come late into Formula One who didn't particularly have an interest in it when they was growing up. But Vettel, like most people in Formula One, generally has an interest in the sport. It's something which he knows about. He knows about the history and its heritage, past drivers, past champions, etc. And therefore he cares about the sport. So when he gets a question, he generally speaks his mind about it. So he's been very critical about this year's engines, its formula, and how quiet they are. And he's very open about it. He's used some very interesting language about it. And yeah, that's one key example, and it's the most recent example where he speaks his mind. And Red Bull allow him to do this. He doesn't get told off. If you think about somebody like Fernando Alonso, who somebody else who cares about the sport, but when he slags off, I don't know, what did he do last year? Was it last year or the year before? He criticised the team or something like that, and he spoke his mind, which I admire, and I agreed with him at the time. But a couple of days later, you have Fernando Alonso, retracting his steps, a lot, I didn't mean it this way, the team are doing well, the guys are working hard back at the factory, and then you have Maranello coming out, saying, and it turned into like a PR sort of cycle, and it's really annoying, and all because Fernando Alonso spoke his mind, because he had a shit car last year, and he spoke his mind about it. But unfortunately, a day later he was forced to kind of retrace his comments, and then you had Ferrari covering it up, trying to make a big deal about it. With Red Bull, they just let the drivers speak freely. Vettel can slate this year's formula. He slated the Renault engine, and we don't get a news feed 6 hours later saying, oh, Vettel's comments were taken out of context and whatever. There isn't like a sort of like a PR sort of overdrive afterwards, after when somebody speaks their mind. and Vettel loves that, I think, and Red Bull do provide that for him. And if you look at some of the PR things they do, because there are, don't get me wrong, they do have to do some sort of PR stuff. So, you know, like interactive fans, it's generally cool stuff. And this is sort of like what Red Bull gives off. You know, Red Bull is a cult following, especially within young people. People love Red Bull, the brand, because of what it represents. It's this sort of like cool sort of cult following which it has. And this transcends to the PR stuff which they have to do. So, you know, you had Vettel doing at Hungary, doing little kicky ups with this Hungarian female sports star who is pretty good at it. It's little cool things like this which probably are much better than what you might do at a McLaren. You know, do something Vodafone or something stupid like that. Well, they're not sponsored by them anymore, but a few years ago they were. So some of the PR stuff's even cool, you know, like the go-karting which they did at Silverstone. Danny Ricciardo did that. Vettel did some go-karting in India. So, you know, it's generally stuff which is interesting, which they give him to do. And that's why Kimi Raikkonen loved Lotus so much, because some of the PR, you know, Lotus and Red Bull kind of have the kind of sort of mantra, you know, that's that sort of cool sort of appearance. And that's why Kimi loved Lotus so much, because, you know, there wasn't this sort of PR machine. They enabled him to be himself, and unfortunately Lotus have no money no more, so they can't really pay the top drivers like a Kimi or a Vettel. So that's why I think Red Bull are still ideal for Sebastian, because anywhere else, you know, if he won't be able to speak his mind, I don't think you can do that at a team like a McLaren or a Ferrari or even Mercedes, because of they're a big corporate company, and they're much more PC, unfortunately. So what Red Bull do, they allow him to be himself, which is the most important thing. I was reading somewhere that I think it's one of the lower teams. It was either a Sauber, Marussia, or Caterham. It probably might be even all three. I was reading somewhere that they forced them to have social media websites, so Twitter, Facebook, and there was one more which I can't remember. It might have been Instagram. I think that's the photo one. They forced the drivers to have it in order to, you know, to attract fans and to, you know, give off some sort of spin sort of story, positive story about the team to grow their popularity. With Red Bull, you know, they just say, you know, if you want to get Twitter, you can get Twitter if you want, and Vettel doesn't even bother with Twitter. So they allow him to do that. They allow him to do that, and I don't think many teams will lay the foundations for him to be like that, you know. And it's a rarity, and I think teams like Red Bull should be cherished for things they do, them and Lotus. So yeah, I think that's a sort of perfect sort of setup for Vettel. And the fifth and final reason is because of Renault. They are committed to him for next year. They're going to have a completely new power unit. They've been it's going to be completely different to what they've got this year, thank God. And Renault are looking very promising. Actually, there's some really promising news feeds about them. They've had a few changes at the top. The Caterham, I think it's somebody from, yeah, they've got rid of the guy, and they've got somebody else in, somebody who knows, because I think he has some sort of affiliation with Caterham. I can't remember the full background story. So they've completely changed that, and so yeah, so hopefully they are going to have a much better engine for next year. It can only get better. It surely cannot get any more worse than it is now. So that's a very promising and a very attractive sort of sign as of why Vettel should stay at Red Bull. And also the sort of sign of Lotus might be going to Mercedes as a customer team, because in turn what that does is it focuses more attention to Red Bull. So if they're only providing for a Red Bull, a Toro Rosso and Caterham next year, that means more attention can go to Red Bull, so more Renault personnel and resources and time can go into Red Bull, and they don't have to waste time with a team like Lotus. And I think I've mentioned this in a previous video about engines, that if Renault didn't supply so many teams and they just kept it to well, it's going to be 3 next year, I believe, or even 2 would be even better. that means they can focus more time because they don't quite have the manpower and the resources as a Mercedes or Ferrari does. So yes, hopefully, and it's not confirmed yet because it's quieting down a bit, but it's led to believe that Lotus will be supplied by a Mercedes power unit next year. So what this will do is this will help Renault and Red Bull and its engine package for next year and throughout the coming years if they continue to commit to them. So that's another great reason for why Sebastian Vettel should stay with Red Bull, and I've given you 5 good reasons there. And I hope this video has been interesting for you, very interesting insight. If it has, give it a like, drop a comment if you want to discuss anything. Below I've got a link to my Facebook page, Dr. Red Bull, where I'm trying to do something with it. I've not really done much at the moment, but hopefully I can get it started up over the summer, and hopefully I'll see you in a future video. Take care.